notice things that are suspicious.
Hello and welcome to the Media Circus. In a week when Gina Reinhardt quit the 10 board, complaining they stole her idea for Family Feud. The award for Australia's least popular politician comes down to a tie. And Ban Ki-moon confuses Australia with Austria, but quickly apologises to the person that he thinks is Joe Hockey. And competing this week, Team Australia is represented by the Checkouts, Zoe Norton-Lodge, Triple J's Lewis Hobber, and South Australia's Senator Nick Xenophon. And they're up against comedian Dave Callan, journalist and author Sarah McDonald, and George Brandis impersonator Julie Morrow. To totally confuse Ban Ki-moon and probably me as well, you're going to be Team Austria. Possibly backfire. And look, looking down on us as always is our fact checker Chesley Chidello.
Hey, Craig. Hey, I just found out your middle name's Bruce, Craig.
Let's move on, please. OK, Dave Callan coming up as we play the news game.
News headlines. Sorry, that's a terrible name.
All right, you've got to pick a headline there.
Yep.
Pick a headline, have a look at it. OK, you've got to act that out to your team over there. They've got to guess what the headline is. Now, because it's a Fairfax headline, you've got to do it before the paywall descends in front of you so that they cannot see you anymore.
That's amazing. It's like a cross between charades and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Your time starts now.
Hairy man.
God.
Debater, orator, politician with ears. Tony Abbott.
Tony Abbott
is
second word.
Comes second in opinion polls.
Up his nose.
Ray Thompson.
All right, Kate, come on out. Come on. I'm glad you were stashed. Well done.
That is far more effective than the Fairfax paywall.
Yeah. Well, can I just ask your team members, what did you think the story was?
Tony Abbott
has broken a finger.
Abbott's direct action, a Mickey Mouse scheme.
Oh,
you guys so close.
We should have known that.
Mickey Mouse, presumably because both direct action and Mickey Mouse were brought to life by nutty billionaires. Although one's theme park has been slightly more successful than the other. Clive Palmer, of course, used to say this.
Direct action is a waste of money.
But then he decided to vote for it anyway. I think we have some vision of that decision here. I don't know how hard it was to get Clive to do that. Seriously. Look, to be fair to Clive Palmer, though, whilst he may be the best at contradicting himself, he isn't alone, which leads us to this game.
Name that hypocrite.
Who am I? I'm well known for supporting the emissions trading scheme I developed before Tony Abbott became Liberal leader. I'm on the record saying direct action is wasteful and inefficient, but last week I voted for it in Parliament.
Is it Malcolm Turnbull?
It is Malcolm Turnbull, although we're looking for somebody else, Nick. Can you think who it is?
Yeah, me.
Yeah.
You're there.
And there you are both back in 2009 announcing your joint ETS. Of course, a lot's changed. What is
It's still my preferred course, but I just don't have the numbers.
You've got one.
No, but in terms of balance of power, and it would have been a much better. It would have been cleaner. It would have been cheaper. It would have been a smarter way of going about things. But it wasn't to be, and it is at least a start. I mean, I think with the IPCC's report coming out, we need to go much further. But that was it.
And according to the new report, we must phase out fossil fuels by the year 2100. 2100, OK, I'll put that on my to-do list. Get off my back, IPCC. I'm getting around to it, OK? Yes, Chaz?
Well, to be fair, Craig, these issues can be very confusing, and no one is more confused than Christine Milne.
Do you want death or do you want coal? That's what we're talking about here. Tony Abbott wants coal.
Death or coal? Well, I think most people would probably pick coal.
Trends that are not trends.
Pie burger. It's the new trend in man food. It's actually a pie inside a burger.
We check out the latest trend, extreme parenting. A new exercise trend is making waves in Australia, nude fitness.
The trend of video recording people coming out of anaesthesia after outpatient surgery sunk to new depths this week.
Inside the sugar dating trend.
Body trend, it's called the nipple meridian.
New male grooming trend, manscaping your chest hair to look like a bikini.
Maybe this isn't such a trend after all.
Time to play news headlines again and find out our topic with Zoe Norton-Lodge from Team Australia. All right, pick a card, any card.
Oh, my God.
You are going to have to perform that to your team. You've got to guess what the topic is. And, of course, you have to do it before the paywall comes down in front of you. You got that?
Or use a private browsing window, which gets you around the paywall.
OK, time starts now.
Hands tied, imprisoned, handcuffed, handcuffed, police arrested. Bike. Reverse. Arrest, reverse. Reverse, arrest.
Get behind the paywall, you cheating!
She's a reverse arrested pirate.
A pirate.
Pirate, yes.
Pirating laws.
OK, well done. Well, congratulations.
Pirating laws.
If you just say all the words you said, you might almost have it.
Zoe thinks you've got it.
They're reversing the laws for arresting pirates?
No, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. Well, no, that's pretty close. The actual one was AFP backpedals on using metadata to chase pirates.
Craig, can you show me how to mine metadata, please?
No, I can't mime it at all.
Yeah.
Last week, new privacy laws were passed requiring telcos to retain customer metadata for 2 years, while salacious emails will be retained by the NT News. But Australians only had one overriding concern.
The AFP and ASIO and so forth, you know, frankly, are not interested in whether you are illegally downloading a copy of Game of Thrones.
Given that, I have a question for you for 20 points. Can somebody give me season 4 of Game of Thrones? Okay.
Can I just say in response to his statement, good, because you can't not watch Game of Thrones straight away. So you go online and there's just spoilers everywhere. People are like, oh my God, I can't believe Peter Dinklage had sex with a dragon.
I haven't got to that. Oh. Are you advocating, like, further censorship of the internet for spoilers?
I reckon spoilers should be banned, piracy should be okay. I mean, if you ask me, that's what I think.
What was interesting is that Malcolm Turnbull says that they're just keeping your IP address. So how do they actually then find out who's visiting a jihadi website?
It's also that you can Google, like, how to hide your IP address, and there are, like, 5 super easy ways to do it. Kids, do it. It's like,
tune in as Lewis breaches new anti-terror laws by assisting terrorists.
That's like anyone.
See it repeated on Sunday on the Bolt Report.
I do find it hard to believe that something would be able to catch a terrorist and not know what porn Lewis is looking at.
I'll tell you what porn I'm looking at. It is fucked up.
Craig.
Yes, Chaz?
Craig, I'm really hoping that they do track these jihadi websites, because I've just been doodling around the internet, and you go to isis.com.au and they're selling some seriously extremist furniture. I mean, have a look at this. They're brazen. ASIO's got to get right onto these guys. Look, contact ISIS.
What I love about this is the idea that somebody that's trying to renovate their office has got the wrong website and is currently fighting in Syria. Damn!
Look, the problem with metadata laws is that if you're a whistleblower, if you're a journo, an investigative journo, the authorities will be able to track who's contacted whom, and it will actually, be very chilling in terms of free speech.
The good news, though, is that George Brandis has assured us he won't let journalists be prosecuted under the new security laws. And you can know that you can trust Brandis because he was recently asked for some examples of when he stood up for freedom, and he was very convincing.
Can I give you any examples? I can't give you any examples, not because I can't, but I'm not at liberty to.
That's right, he loves freedom. He's not free to say why he loves freedom. But you are right. I mean, I think investigative journalists is a big problem. I mean, if you're calling somebody, you can track that kind of thing.
Journalists won't be able to protect their sources, which means that everyone will be able to discover who their sources are. They won't be able to protect them. They could go to jail.
Sarah, so does that mean that Peter Overton's sources are in danger as well? Because he's got some excellent sources and I don't want them getting arrested.
Today's news is frightening for many people. Indeed, I received a text from a mate saying, scary times.
Oh, don't tell me his mate's going to jail, Sarah.
It's true that these laws only keep your metadata, but how much information can you actually glean from metadata? Let's find out as we play...
The Meta Dating Game.
All right, so jump in as soon as you know the answer, OK? We're going to give you the metadata. This is a famous story that involves at least 2 phone calls, one made on April 5 and the other on June 7, 2006. And the calls were made from 2 Melbourne hotels. And you can see who?
Craig.
Was it Craig Thompson?
The receivers of this was Bad Girls and Young Blondes. So, yes, it was Craig Thompson. Well done.
That's metadata. Metadata is all the things.
Yeah. You don't know what Craig Thompson said to the people at Bad Girls and Young Blondes.
Just going, but I really hope you get a good education.
Yeah.
Just Craig out.
He's a former unionist. He could have been checking working conditions.
Yes.
So.
He was doing a fairly thorough examination.
They do have an excellent union. They do.
The Thompson case really shows why we need to retain metadata. Without it, the only evidence against him would have been his credit card statements, his credit card receipts, his signatures on the receipts, his driver's licence, his ATM withdrawals, and the testimony of the escorts. OK, let's see if you can guess the next one, just based on the metadata. This one involves a series of emails from 2010 from .au to a .tt country code.
Oh, is it Nova?
Nova Paris, that's right, well done.
Yeah.
Where the NT News published what it says are leaked emails between Senator Nova Paris and Olympic star Atto Boldon. Now, before you dismiss these stories, remember that the NT News is the great publication that's broken other big stories like the best man hit in the head by a flying dildo and horny ghost haunts house. And no, the horny ghost didn't turn out to be Jeffrey Edelson. So you oppose these metadata laws and you had a pretty memorable soundbite about it. See if you can remember your soundbite.
Yeah, I can.
Go and do it again.
No, it's Sting, the police. Every. She's. I can't remember it.
Come on, you can remember it, Nick.
You can, so I bet.
It's every call you take, every internet move you make, the government will be watching you.
Yeah. That is correct. So let's now play.
Dickheads. Economic girly man.
Foghorn leghorn shirt front.
Soundbite bingo.
OK, this question is for both teams. How many news stations do you think picked up Nick's soundbite about his Sting soundbite?
Does it include Sky?
It includes Sky.
He knows.
I would say all of them.
No.
You say all of them? No,
I reckon 2.
2? Let's see how many times you got on.
Every call you take, every internet move you make, the government will be watching you.
Oh, there you go. 3 out of 6. Halfway there. Well done. Yeah. You're a political journo. Do you remember choosing the kind of sound bites that, were a bit witty, or did use a song, or did use a kind of contemporary reference rather than the boring one?
I don't remember anyone using a contemporary reference in Parliament House when I was there whatsoever.
And they're still not. It's Sting
and he's still using the police. So, they're pretty old references. But you are after a really short, sharp, powerful grab that, kind of distills the issue into one small sentence and, yes, takes out all the importance and the nuance and the actual reality of it.
Whose fault is that? Like, which of you two?
It's yours. It's the audience. The audience love grabs, right? You're told that if you want to cut through, you've got to do it sharp, punchy and funny, and that's what the media want.
I'm told I've got
that's
6
what the media
seconds.
love.
That's what I'm told.
I think that's a bit of victim shaming there. Like, I don't know what makes you say the audience love it.
No,
you make it,
it's your fault. You guys.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
All right, it's our fault. We think in 6 seconds and we can't concentrate any longer. It's all we've got.
Has it got worse? Like, when you started in politics, could you get attention without having to do silly stunts or rewrite lyrics, or is it just always been this way?
I think the last 15, 20 years it's been this way. Alistair Cook, the great British broadcaster, did Letter from America from the States for many years. He said that the average soundbite in the 1950s for a Polly was about 1 minute and 10 seconds. It's like a whole story.
You would have had to do the whole police song.
That's like...
So he whittled down, I think in the Vietnam era it was, 30 seconds, and now it's down to 6 to 8 seconds.
I can't wait for the future. No! Yes! Meta... Oh, damn. Well, look, one man knows how to get press attention, and that man, of course, is Nick Xenophon.
Yes.
He's the world's foremost practitioner of publicity stunts. But can you actually figure out what the hell those stunts are trying to say? Let's find out as we play...
The X Factor.
OK, teams, I'm going to show you a Xenophon publicity stunt, and you have to guess the message he was trying to convey, OK? All right.
Is Nick playing this?
Yeah, look, it'd be fair to say that Team Australia has a slight advantage. But as if he can remember, he does like
he won't remember.
He'll have no idea.
We're from Austria. We have no idea about Australian
All right.
politics.
Well, we'll start with you, Team Austria, OK? Let's see the first one. What was Nick's message here?
Was it a male pregnancy test kit?
There is a little bit of, look what I found in the shower.
Is it something about water conservation and short showers or something? Is that what you were doing?
That is right. Well done. It is... Nick was encouraging people to have a shorter shower and to keep it under 4 minutes.
Come on, it was during the drought.
Nick, why do you have your towels on in the shower? Did you not know how to do showers?
It's not encouraging me to have shorter showers, but it is encouraging me to have my eyes open for shorter periods of time.
He's on your team.
I could have sworn that was the Clio Middle-Aged Non-Bachelor of the Year competition.
All right, next, Team Australia. Yes, you've got the advantage here. There you go. What was Nick's message here?
Is it about Monopoly?
No, can I tell you that's, that's the only BMW I've ever owned.
No. It's not even a publicity stunt. That's the Adelaide Grand Prix.
This is after they announced the downsizing of Australia's automotive industry.
No.
Do you remember, Nick?
I remember. It was about, in State Parliament, about 10, 12 years ago, the Pollies passed a law to give themselves cheap cars so quickly that I'm surprised they didn't get whiplash. It got through Parliament, through both houses in 24 hours. So I protested against it, made fun of them and myself.
You got that car?
So you were making fun of somebody else?
Yeah.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
It worked because the public outrage was so great that they had to sort of scrap that deal and have a much less generous deal for MPs. So it kind of worked.
That's why we all remember it so fondly.
It was a South Australian thing.
It was a South Australian story. Yeah, that's why they no longer have a car industry in South Australia. Well done,
I was pretty sure it was to celebrate the release of Noddy on DVD.
All right, let's go to the next one.
There are more, are there?
Yeah. We could go all night. Next, Team Australia. Here's Nick with a goat named Zorba. What was the message?
Is it a baby goat? It's just a question for my reasoning.
It's a kid.
Is it a kid? Is he kidding? Is someone kidding around? Someone just kidding?
Or do we just save the He would kids? never do a pun that bad.
Have a go, Nick. What was it?
It was the day before the state election 2006. Said, "Don't kid around, vote for me." And, you know,
Don't kid around. There you go. It worked, though, didn't it?
It worked, yeah.
You and that goat are still together today.
Are there police?
All right, next to Team Austria. Here's Nick with Katie the Mule back in 2007. What in God's name was this about?
Do you have a whole zoo?
Yeah. And did Corey Bernardi approve?
I admit it, I'm an arse.
That's right.
Is it like donkey voting or something? Is that
donkey
what it is?
voting?
No, that's Corey Bernardi's chasing the donkey vote. But it's saying the eve of the 2007 election, say I'll be as stubborn as a mule, or I'll make a complete ass of myself.
That is correct. There you go. I'm not unsurprised that he knows.
Have we got the one where Nick said, "I draw the lion at"?
What a good idea!
10 people died. Horrifying.
Yes, Nick walked this mule through Rundle Mall to publicise his own stubbornness. Either that or he was just caught with a donkey and had to think quickly. All right, now let's final one for Team Australia. Here's Nick with an S on his face.
Okay.
What was he saying here?
Senator. I know how I start.
Is he like a bizarre superhero?
Like, shit for brains. That's not what I have. That's the opposite of what I have in my brain.
Payback.
Yes.
Was it a campaign to help people overcome a lisp?
What do you mean it's taunting people with a list? What was it?
Okay. There's, under the rules of Senate voting, unless you have a political party already in the Senate, you can't have your name above the line. You're just a letter. So I had to educate the electorate on which box to look for, otherwise I'd be stuffed, and that's what I did in 2007.
And I like the fact you go, yep, it's me, Nick Xenophon. OK, so that is the end of the game, and the team with the most correct answers was, amazingly, it was Team Australia. Well done. You win a very rare prize. It's Australia's only legal copy of Game of Thrones.
I've seen it.
Can I get a copy of this later? Thank you.
News School. Lesson 43. When talking about a filthy sex tape, don't do it when surrounded by children. Koshi, you try.
Imagine a sex tape being in a copyright action.
Well,
it's a bit weird, isn't it?
Fail. There's a child there. Not to mention there, and I suspect that girl is about to cry. Bad, Koshi. Don't do it again.
Yesterday's news.
Yes, this segment's all about what made news on this day in history. Either team can answer, OK? And today's Yesterday News question is, what's the historic occasion being marked in this clip?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very significant and historic occasion.
That's Sir Robert Menzies, so is it, he founded the Liberal Party, is it Roland Bishop's 21st?
We're just about to introduce colour television.
Black and white TV.
That is black and white. Well done.
Right. No, but I think it's the first broadcast.
The first broadcast? That is very close. Well, you're on the right track, actually.
So is it the ABC? Are they about to do a piano recital at the opening first ABC broadcast?
First ABC broadcast is right, actually. Well done. That's kind of what Nick said too. You can all have the points.
I was
right.
so worried it was going to be the first series of Big Brother.
Craig, it was also the first news cat video.
Look at all those... Look out there. Oh, don't look at me. Look at all those rich people owning television sets out there.
So YouTube is copying that. Yes, and in the presence of Prime Minister Robert Menzies, it was also the first ABC technical stuff-up.
Where's the sound? All right, what happened here? No sound. Oh, there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see...
Although I don't believe they'll be there in the last 20 yards.
We're sorry about the little breakdown you saw there. Those things are going to happen in the early stages, and I'm afraid I'm afraid you too, are just going to have to put up with them for a little while. Well, that was Behind the Scenes with Obi Teresini.
What was that noise? Were they still building the sets in the background?
Yes, Jez.
Craig, I can confirm that. ABC audiences did have to put up with those kinds of stuff-ups for a little while. In fact, all the way to last Friday when this happened.
Reporter Ben Worsley joins us now. Ben, what have these submissions said about Julia Gillard's role in this affair?
To be fair, though, Craig, those long-distance links are actually tricky, and especially that one there, which I traced to the ABC balcony, exactly 35 metres away from Juanita Phillips in the news studio.
Bill Shorten's Life Hacks. Bill Shorten knows if you want to wow people with your rhetoric, you should butcher a famous quotation.
I think Eleanor Roosevelt once said that great people discuss ideas, ordinary people discuss events, and small people discuss gossip.
Don't worry if you can't remember who said the quote. Simply attribute it to someone.
To paraphrase what someone said, never lose faith in Australia. Its faults are ours to fix, not to reject.
Someone famous once said that long after people have forgotten the comments of your enemies, they will remember the silence of our leaders.
Excellent. That was nothing like the original quote. Now you try.
So, before we go into battle, just remember, someone famous once said something like, It's not what your country can do for you, but what your country has done while you have done something for you and yourself.
Now your opposition leading.
Round 4.
Now, puns are vital in news broadcasting, whether they're used in subtle discourse about killer pythons.
This rainbow serpent currently comes in at around 32 centimetres long. But after the chop, it'll be just 21. News that's killer for lolly lovers.
Or used to balance coverage of Chinese property investors.
Forget the block.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm translating the bids into Chinese just to make it easier for them.
This is the wok.
That was real, yes, that happened. And especially when they're used in our final round tonight.
Pandemonium!
We've gathered together the very worst of TV journalism punnery. I'll describe the stories they came from, and your job is to figure out the pun that was used by the reporter, OK? Hands on buzzers. Let's start off. The first one. The news story was about 2 dogs being rescued from a fire.
Hot dogs?
Hot dogs is very good, but it's not the one they went for. Yeah, yes?
What about, were they Saint Bernards?
If they were small dogs, they could have been out chihuahuas.
Were they getting a little hot under the collar?
Yeah. Oh. These are all better than the answer. Yes?
Inferno?
Inferno.
No?
No.
Firemen have dog of a day.
Firemen have rough day.
Rough.
Oh, there it is. If you want animals, you go to this game.
All right, let's see what the actual answer was.
Detectives will subject the fire to a dogged investigation.
OK, next. A beauty competition for fish. What's the pun?
Oh, did they have to visit the plastic sturgeon?
Yes.
Were they gorgeous gills?
Gorgeous gills? Oh, not bad.
Did they have to wear a lot of eyeliner and flounderation?
Was it something about scales? Beauty off the scale?
Scales, yeah, that's exactly right, actually. Here you go.
Now, to a beauty contest that's off the scales.
There you go, well done.
Oh, that's not good to win that.
OK, the next story. Coffee prices are rising. What's the pun?
That's a new piccolo.
Do you want to go right for him? Like, you
Cappuccino ain't cappuccino?
That's not bad. You can tell that she went to journalism school.
Coffee lovers mocked.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Coffee's never been more expensive.
Bean is right. Well done. There's one more, though.
Dave's pressing.
Yes, Dave.
Was it anger was brewing over coffee prices that will take you from the red to the short black?
What's a red coffee?
Look, we're close enough. Let's have a look.
Coffee futures are the highest they've been. $5 a cup will be hard to swallow.
Oh, see, you were very close, Julian, but you said bean rather than bean. All right, final story. Workers in the Arnott's factory win the lottery.
Because it's gambling, I've got to do it. Workers win big bickies.
Big bickies. Big bickies is one of them, but the great thing about this one is there are many more.
Is it Jats a lot of money? No?
It was...
A mint slice of the winnings?
Mint slice is right. Well done. That's one.
It was the icing on the Vovo.
No, they didn't go with that. I can't believe they didn't go with that.
Right?
With the winnings, they can go to Monte Carlo.
Yes, that is right as well. Well done. I think we're almost there. Let's have a look at which ones you haven't got.
Have not gone crackers. They each made a packet.
They work with dough. Now they're rolling in it. Big Bickies indeed. A $35.9 million mint slice that could see them off to Monte Carlo, which is a very neat prospect.
You got very close. Well done, everyone. And the winner of that round was Team Australia, which I think means at the end of this show, yes, you'll be surprised by this, the winner is Team Australia! Sorry, Austria. We'll see you back on the Media Circus next week. Good night. Sorry, Austria.
Rather nice, eh?